Hey guys, this is MB Cash, and today I'm going to be starting a new series of YouTube action figure reviews done by yours truly. Just a little bit about myself. I've been a big action figure toy collector for a while now. It's been a huge hobby of mine, and a lot of the action figures I like to collect are mainly old school stuff. Stuff that were a part of my childhood, things I grew up playing with. And the reason for that is because, there's the nostalgia factor and also the fact that, they were part of my childhood and so many memories were involved. But I'm also open to collecting newer action figures because even today, there's a lot of great figures that are being produced. So just action figures and really cool toys, collectibles in general, I love collecting. And I've seen a number of online review videos of different action figures. And I decided that I want to go ahead and do my own series just so I can, give you guys my own perspective. And I want to go ahead and apologize in advance. Some of the figures I might be reviewing in the future may be figures that you have already seen people review already, so I apologize if it seems a little repetitive, but I just thought, I'd give you my perspective and say what I want to say about whatever figure that may be, because, everybody's going to have their own opinions. So for my first video, because Christmas is around the corner, it is the holidays, I wanted to go ahead and review not only my favorite action figure and toy of all time, but also it's a figure that is related to the Christmas season, and that is the Turbo Man action figure from the holiday classic Jingle All the Way. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, here he is, the Talking Turbo Man by Tiger Electronics from Jingle All the Way. This figure came out back in 1996, the same year that the movie hit theaters, and it was sold exclusively at Walmart. So you couldn't find him anywhere else. That means you couldn't find him at Kmart, you couldn't find him at Target, you couldn't find him at Toys R Us. Walmart was the only place to go if you wanted this guy. He sold originally for $26.97, so for round numbers, we'll just say he sold for $27. Plus tax, looking about close to $30, so pretty pricey for a toy, but it is Turbo Man, and in the movie it was the most sought after toy, and it was the figure that every kid had to have for the Christmas season. This figure just brings me back to a lot of childhood memories. I watched Jingle All the Way back when I was a kid, and I loved it so much. In fact, to this day, it's still my favorite Christmas movie of all time. Now, even though there are a lot of haters and there are people who just don't like the movie and give it a lot of crap, I love it. It's such an awesome and funny movie. And when I found out that they made Turbo Man action figures, because I remember I loved the Turbo Man in the movie so much, and I kept thinking, man, I wish they made a Turbo Man. I would love to have one. So when I did find out that they made real Turbo Man action figures, I was ecstatic, and I knew I had to have one. And I'm glad that I do own a Turbo Man because, it is my favorite action figure. It is my favorite toy of all time, and it's the most prized possession in my whole collection. So really fortunate to have one of these guys. I know they're pretty rare nowadays, and I'll explain more of that later on. So let's go ahead and get into the box. That'll be the first thing we're going to cover. So this is what the box looks like. It's a pretty big box, and you can see there's Turbo Man inside. We'll bring this camera down a little bit so you can see the rest. So pretty cool artwork right here. We got Turbo Man flying through the city. We got buildings, and the artwork was done by Tim Flattery, the guy who designed the Turbo Man character for the movie. It's really nicely done, and the box is pretty much like the box that was in the movie, the same kind of box that the movie figure was in, just a little different. It's wider, it's bigger, but for the most part, it's pretty true to its movie counterpart. Just go ahead and bring it up close here. You can see. So you got a choking hazard right there. Warning, small parts not for children under 3. So if you have kids under 3 years old, keep them away, at least from the small little accessories. You got a Turboman logo right here, talking Turboman. It's pretty cool. And then you got your Tiger Electronics logo right there, and it's ages 6 and up, and it's a model 8618. Electronic lights and sounds. Bring it up here. Includes 3 action accessories, and what those action accessories are the jetpack, which you see right here. It's right next to him. That's his turbo disc launcher, and it comes with 4 turbo discs. You can see, I don't know if you can see that clearly, but there they are. And there's the turbo ring. So those are the 3 accessories that it comes with: jetpack, turbo disc launcher with discs, and the turbo ring, which he has to have. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn him around. Turn him off to the side here. So this is one side of the box, and you can see it's got Turboman, Dementor, it's got Booster. Bring it up close here. There's the Demon Team. Turboman and Dementor, they have short little bios. So there you go, you can see the little bios right there. And there's also a message right there. I'm not going to read it, but if you like to, you can just pause the video and read it for yourself. Same thing with the bios. Now, real quick, I want to go ahead and just say, to this day, I'm still a little disappointed that they never made the other characters into actual figures. They just made Turboman. I think that would have been so cool if they actually made a real Dementor figure, a Booster figure, and Demon Team members just like in the movie, because then you would have been able to complete your whole set. You know, if you were a kid back in '96 and you had your Turboman, you could have also bought your Booster and made Booster and Turboman team up, and you have them fight Dementor and the Demon Team, but that wasn't the case. Instead, we just got Turboman. So I don't know why they opted for just Turboman only and not the other characters. Maybe because it was just Turboman that was the most important, because, you know, nobody really cared for the other characters. If you remember that funny scene during the parade sequence in the movie where Sinbad, dressed up as Dementor, just tells Booster, you know what, nobody likes you, Booster. And that was pretty much the case. You know, nobody really wanted Booster or Dementor. Everybody wanted Turboman. He was the guy everybody had to have. So I think maybe that's why you just didn't see the importance of making the other characters. But at least they made Turboman, so that's the thing that counts. And I'm just saying it would have been really nice if they made the other characters for in real life. Before we go into the back, let's go ahead and turn it off to the side here, the other side. And again, more illustration. We got another really cool depiction of Turboman just flying. You can see him, his whole body, and it's really cool. Again, Tim Flattery. And if you bring it down here, Deluxe 13.5 edition, fully posable. Now, unfortunately, that's not really the case, and I'll get more onto that later on when we actually go into the figure itself. But let's go ahead and focus on the back. So this is the back of the box, and it's got Turboman. You can see on his left hand, he's got the turbo ring all ready to go. And then in his right arm, he's got a turbo disc launcher with a turbo disc ready to go as well. So pretty much all the box does is just show you what this figure comes with and what it does. So you can see there's the turbo ring. We got the 2 controllers on the figure. The first one, the top one, is just the button, and when you press it, that controls the phrases. So when you press it, you'll hear him go, "It's turbo time!" And then the bottom one is a switch, and that controls these flashing turbo lights that you see here on the legs. And then, of course, there's the disc launcher with the disc. All you got to do is just press that button, and a disc shoots out, which I'll demonstrate later. And there's the jetpack, of course. It's got a button on the top. You press that, and the wings pop up, and they got flashing lights, and it makes noise. So that's pretty cool. And you got your barcode right there, and then it was made in China. It was printed in the box was printed in Hong Kong, and there's your copyright, 1996, 20th Century Fox. It's the studio that released Jingle All the Way. Tiger Electronics logo, gotta have that. Okay, so that's pretty much the whole box. That's the exterior. Let me go ahead and turn them back around to the front and bring them up close. Now, although the exterior of the box is really cool, the only thing I have a problem with is just the inside where the figure is bound to. And the reason for that is it's not really cool. It's just this bland white with pink buildings. You can see here. I don't know why that was done. Because in the movie, the inside cardboard, that the binding or whatever it's called, that was done exactly like what you see here on the front. Full color buildings. Obviously, you don't have a Turbo Man because he's inside the box, but you got the buildings, and you even have that really cool like pinkish kind of sunset color. But instead, all we just get is this really crappy bland interior. Just this pink buildings and just plain white. It's the only thing I really don't like about the inside of the box. But other than that, everything else about at least just the exterior is pretty cool, and it's a really big box. I was just shocked on just how big that thing was. I remember when I got it in the mail, it came in a really big package, so I knew that this thing was big. So that's pretty cool. Now, this figure is mint condition and it's factory sealed, and I don't intend on opening him up at any time. This figure in particular will be meant to be inside the box always. So I'm not going to go ahead and open him up, but I do have another, and I'm going to pull him out right now. And this next Turbo Man that I'm going to show you is outside of the box. He's still in great condition. And here he is. So that's the Turbo Man figure in all its glory. You can see he's in really, really great condition. I didn't really play with him. I took really good care of him. I mainly kept him inside the box that he came in, because he also came, I also bought him mint condition. But for this one, I decided to take him outside of the box, put his jetpack on and everything, put batteries in him. And whenever I wouldn't use him, I would just put him back inside the box and just keep him in there. So obviously no big wears or anything like that. He's in great condition, handled gently, and it's just really cool. I mean, this is just a really fun figure to have if you're a fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger or the movie Jingle All the Way. It's a really great nostalgia piece, and it's just really cool. Let's go ahead and see. We'll go ahead and talk about what he does here. So first, I'll go ahead and show you the phrases. So here's the button right here. You press it. There we go. That's what we want to hear. He repeats, and I'm sorry, I'll explain that much later on. But another thing he does, here's the switch. You move that up. He's got these green flashing turbo lights. I think that's pretty cool. That's something that not even the movie figure had. So it's a little something extra. I think that's really cool. Now you can see here on his left boot, he's got a holster, and that's where he keeps his turbo ring. So I'll show you what it looks like here. So that's a turbo ring. It's pretty cool. It opens up just like in the movie, and then when you want to put it back in his holster, it closes. So we'll go ahead and have Turbo Man hold it here. Or I'm sorry, we'll open it up. Now The only drawback is he doesn't really hold it too well. The closure on his hands are not really that small. They're pretty wide, so he doesn't hold this thing. He doesn't hold this thing too well. I guess if you wanted to have him hold it in the closed position, it just wouldn't look right because he's just holding it by the tip. So it's a little bit of a drawback right there because it just slides and just looks loose. Doesn't really look all that natural. He doesn't have like a tight grip on it or anything like that. But at least he can hold it to some extent. I mean, at least if you just put it in the right position and put him in the right stance, he'll look right. But that's the turbo ring. Put this back in here. Next, I want to go ahead and show you the turbo disc launcher and the disc. Focus. So this is what it looks like. It's a really big piece, much different from the movie, because in the movie the disc shooter was on his gauntlet and it was just attached to his glove. But oh well, at least they gave him a disc launcher, so we can put it on his arm here. Now it doesn't really hold too well. You kind of have to play around with it just to fit it on. So that's what that's how you put it on, and I guess you can put it on any other. You can put it on the other arm if you want, but I personally like it on the right. So this is what it looks like when it's on his arm here. Sorry about that. And of course, he's got a disc ready to go, and this thing comes with 4 discs, so there's 3 other spares, so if you lose one, you got at least 3 more. So all you got to do is just press the button here and it just shoots, just like that. It's that simple. And then whenever you want to take another one, just put it back in and you're ready to go. So it's pretty cool how neat how that, it's pretty neat how it works. You know, if you want to have them shoot against, you know, other figures you might have, or you can have them shoot maybe some aluminum cans or plastic cups that are just stacked up. You can take them all down. It's pretty cool. Now let's go ahead and go on to the jetpack. So this is the jetpack, and it comes off. Take it off here. You can see here he takes 2 AA batteries. And so this is where you put the batteries, this is the compartment. All you got to do is just unscrew this. And this is how the jetpack, this is really how the jetpack gets to work when it's attached to the figure. It looks like, almost like a piece where a chip would go. And this is what it looks like. You can see it looks almost like a little microchip. So that's going to make contact, otherwise it won't work. So I'll just put that on. And just press the button, and there you go. Pretty cool, huh? Flashes, makes noise, so you can have them fly around. And whenever you want to turn it off, just got to push the wings back into the side of the jetpack. Now, let's go ahead and talk about, well actually first, before I talk about the detail and everything, he does come with instructions. Really something I don't have to really explain. It's very self-explanatory. It just shows you how to insert the batteries and how he works and all that. So it's pretty pretty basic and just something I just don't need to show you. And of course he's also got a limited time warranty, but again, this figure came out in 1996, so if you have this figure, then this really doesn't work anymore. So if something happens, well, sorry. Okay, let's go ahead and go into detail. Pretty cool. I mean, it's just a kid's toy. It's an action figure meant to play with, just like in the movie. It's not a super detailed figure like, if something out of NECA or Hot Toys. It's just pretty basic, but I like the look of the costume. A little different in some ways to the one that was in the movie, but still pretty cool. It's really, really big and really nicely done. He's got the T on his chest. And I like the sculpt of the head. And, it's got the visor that comes attached. It's got the eyes right here, and then that crest on the helmet. The jetpack is really detailed. I mean, look at this. It's a lot different from what was seen in the movie, because in the movie it was pretty simple, just pretty plain, but we got a lot of detail here. You can see these little plates and looks like little rivets, and so we got some tubes right here for the fuel. Sorry about that. It's my office phone. Now, as far as the paint goes, there really isn't a lot of paint on this thing. The only paint there is just the gold pieces and just the face. The figure is already molded and comes out in red. So it's red plastic with just the gold features painted on. So you got the T that's painted on his chest. You got the belt, the gloves, and the gauntlets, the boots, and then on his head we got the crest. The pupil is black, and then of course the face is painted along with eyes and everything. So there's really not much of a paint scheme going on, so it's pretty basic. Now, as far as articulation goes, again, it's not a super detailed figure, so there really isn't much articulation, especially because it's only a kid's toy. There is no articulation in the body. His waist doesn't move, his thighs don't move. It's just solid, and the reason for that is because the electronics are all inside, and you got the buttons, so that's the reason why there's nothing going on here in the body. Now his arms move, and the cool thing about the real figure compared to the movie is in the figure in the movie it only moved just up and down like this. With this one you got a ball, looks like you got a ball and socket joint going on, so a little bit more movement than what was in the movie. So it moves to the sides. You can move up and down. The elbow is a hinge, so it can only move like so. There is no movement in the hands or wrists. Fingers don't move. It's in this closed grip position. Now the legs, at first glance, they may look like they want to move to the sides, but they can't. If you try to make Turbo Man do the splits, you're going to break it, so don't even try bothering to move his legs to the side. But at least they can move up and down. And then his knees, again, just like the elbows, are a hinge. And his feet don't move at all. Now as far as the head goes, it can move, it can rotate full 360 degrees, but it doesn't nod or anything. It's just, that's all you're going to get out of the head movement. So even though the box says it's fully posable, to be honest, there's really nothing much you can do to pose him. So a little misleading there. But again, it's a kid's toy, so it's not something that's meant to, just be displayed in really cool action poses like a NECA figure or a Hot Toys or even a Todd McFarlane figure. This is just something that a kid can just enjoy playing with. So because of that, there is limited movement and articulation. But again, what can you expect? Now, even though this toy is my favorite and I just like it so much, I'm not going to be biased and say, oh, this is the greatest toy of all time. I do have some issues with it, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about that right now. The first issue that I have is the body. The body is just weird and oddly shaped. In the movie, the figure was a little bit more proportionate in terms of the body type, but here it's just like, I don't know, what is that? It just looks really off, you know? It doesn't look really accurate, or really wide, I can tell you that, but it just doesn't look really realistic at all. The second problem I have with this figure is it's repetitive. When you press the button to make him talk, the phrases repeat over and over, but they're also random. The phrases don't skip. I mean, I'm sorry, they don't go one at a time. It's just all over the place, and I'll show you.
Beware of evildoers. Good work, Booster. You can always count on me. Beware of evildoers. Good work, Booster. It's turbo time. Beware of evildoers. You can always count on me. Good work, Booster. You can always count on me.
Yeah, you can see how it gets annoying, and it is.
Evildoers. Beware of evildoers. You can always count on me.
It's a major flaw that this figure has, and a big complaint that I have with it. And then the third thing that I just really don't like about this figure ties into the phrases, and that's the voice itself. It just sounds really weird, and it's not heroic at all. It's definitely not Schwarzenegger's voice. In fact, if the figure was actually made to talk like Arnold, I don't know how it would have felt. I think it would have been really awkward. Doesn't look like Arnold either, so, you know, why would they want to make him talk like Arnold? I think it would have been so cool if he actually talked like the real Turbo Man action figure with the same voice in the movie. The voice was provided by Dan Reardon, who played Turbo Man in the beginning sequence of the movie, you know, the whole Turbo Man TV show at the movie's intro. I think if they would have had Dan Reardon provide the voice for the real figure, that'd have been so much cooler. But instead, we just have this.
You can always count on me.
It just sounds lame. It doesn't sound like what you would expect a superhero to talk like. It's just really awkward. So those are the major complaints that I have with this figure. But other than that, I still like it a lot. It's a cool figure to own, even if you don't really care much for the movie. Just, you know, why not? I mean, it's Turbo Man. That's all I can say. So let me just bring him back here, and let me get the other one back over here. Now, in terms of where to find this guy and the price, eBay is probably going to have to be your best option. Now, they are rare, and they do pop up every now and then. Normally, they tend to pop up a lot around this time during Christmas time because of the movie Jingle All the Way, and it's a Christmas movie. So if you look on eBay during this time of the year, you're probably going to get a lot more results. But any other season, you'll probably won't see as much. And as far as the prices go, you're going to be spending a lot of money if you really are considering buying one of these. This figure right here, I bought back in 2008, and again, I bought him in mint condition, so he was in the box, just like this other guy here. When I bought him in 2008, he cost me about $130. This one was a gift for Christmas last year, and this one cost $200. So 2008, $130 to 2013, $100 or $200. It's a lot. It shows you just how much the prices have skyrocketed over the years. And it really depends on the condition. The reason why I paid so much is because, you know, again, these are really great condition. This one was in this one's still in mint condition, and that's how I bought him. This one was in mint condition in the box, but he's still in good condition. So if you go on eBay and you're looking for a Turbo Man, you should expect to find a factory sealed mint condition Turbo Man around the $300 price range, maybe 200 if you're a little lucky, but it's still a lot of money. So 200 to 300, maybe even more. If you find a Turbo Man that's like this, it's a loose figure, but still in great condition, might be about 100 and more. And of course, if you find just I guess a bare bones version of the figure, you know, it's loose and it's missing everything. He doesn't have the visor, the jetpack, or any of his other accessories. Probably about $50 or maybe $75, somewhere around that price range. But if you really want this figure, you know, why would you want a loose figure that's missing everything? You want something like these two. So they are really expensive, and if you are a fan of Jingle All the Way and really want this figure, then I don't see why not. Although you're going to be paying a lot, and some might think even you're crazy. I know my mom thought I was crazy, but you know, I just love this figure so much that to me it was worth it. So, you know, if you have the same feeling, you know, go for it. You know, definitely pick one up, and better do it soon, because you know, I think these things are getting much more harder to find, and they're a lot more rare. And just to throw this out, these figures are going to be staying with me. I do not plan on selling them anytime soon, nor will I ever sell them. So just to letting you know, if you guys are thinking about, you know, wanting to leave a comment asking, you know, how much would you sell one of them? What's your price? Don't even bother. These guys are not leaving me. They're staying with me. So sorry. But again, you can at least try eBay, or maybe if you get lucky, if you could try going on Google, maybe you might find somewhere else where you might find a Turbo Man. This one I found on a random online novelty store. I was just Google searching, and so I found it. This one I got on, I think it's called actiontoys.com, something like that. So I didn't buy any of these figures on eBay, and mainly because every time I tried eBay, I had no luck. Either because the prices were just way too much. They were just ridiculously a lot. They were just a ridiculous amount of money to where I just couldn't afford it, or maybe because it was only an auction figure. It wasn't on sale, so you didn't have the option of buying it now. You can only bid. And I'm not really a big fan of bidding. When I do my shopping on eBay, I like finding stuff that's on sale, so you can just buy it now. Before I close this video, I want to show you something a little extra. I think this is really cool. And this one's for this figure. And what I'm about to show you is something that's just awesome. This is a custom display stand that I made along with my dad's help and one of my old graphic design professors from the college I attended. The base is made out of wood. It was just cut and painted. You can see it's got this little angle here in the front, so I think that's pretty cool, and painted it flat black. And then the metal rod that holds the figure, my dad was able to supply that, and he was able to bend a little piece into the shape at the top, the little U shape, and then just weld it onto the longer piece. And I painted that black, and then just added some black electrical tape here on the edges. Let me bring it closer. So just tape so that way the edges of the metal don't scratch up the figure and lose some paint. We wouldn't want that. And then the custom T logo that I designed along with the nameplate, that was made by one of my graphic design professors using a 3D printer that he had built. Let me bring it up close right here. So that's a teeth, so it's made out of plastic. Same thing with this nameplate. This is painted flat black with gold for the lettering. It's really cool. The stand was intended to have red LED lights to go at the front corners, but I never got around with that. So maybe it might be something I might consider, in the future. But it's really cool because then I get to display my Turbo Man, like in my showcase. So you just slide them on like so, and there you go. So it's really neat. I'm glad I was able to have this thing made, because it just makes my other Turbo Man. This makes this one look really cool. So I got one Turbo Man still inside the box to display, and I got this one to go on this really cool stand. So I just thought I'd show you that because it's just so cool. Little something extra there. So again, this is my favorite toy of all time, and I'm really glad I own it. I love Jingle All the Way so much, so I'm really glad I have this figure. Brings me back so many memories. It's just I love it. This guy is definitely my most prized possession. So I'm glad I was able to do my first review on this guy. And I look forward to doing more reviews of the other figures I have in my collection. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun, just showing you guys all of the different figures I enjoy collecting, and just talking about them and going into detail, and just what I like and what I don't like about them. And again, I want to apologize for any figures that I will be covering in the future. If if you've seen them already, I want to apologize if they're a little repetitive. But there you go. That's the Turbo Man action figure from Jingle All the Way. So if you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe. And until next time, I hope you have a Merry Christmas and God bless.